The Knicks dethroned the defending champs, sending the Boston Celtics home in the second round. Does that vindicate all of the Knicks' moves this offseason? Some controversial ones. Trading for Karl-Anthony Towns, giving up everything they parted with to get Mikal Bridges. Was it all now worth it? Plus, Knicks fans find a Pacers fan, and the result was not pretty. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel right now. About 70% of you out there, you're not subscribed to the channel right now, despite the fact that you're watching this video. Let's fix that. Hit that subscribe button as we head into what's going to be a busy offseason, and we're getting down to it in the NBA playoffs as well. Joining me is Donnie Freeman. Donnie, the Celtics. I'm shocked. I thought for sure we were getting Celtics, Cavs, Eastern Conference Finals. Nope. Both teams gone home. It's Pacers, Knicks.
Yeah, everyone thought that was what we were going to get. And unfortunately, I guess, we didn't get that. But just goes to show, man, there's circumstance with both teams. You know, injuries also hit both teams pretty hard towards the end here. But the regular season, I just don't know about the regular season, how much you can really just kind of take from it value-wise.
I think that's the big overall takeaway of the playoffs so far. I think the regular season is now mattering less and less and less now that there's more parity around the NBA. Just get to the playoffs healthy, and then matchups are what's going to really matter. Health obviously has been a big factor. Jason Tatum, the unfortunate injury. We've seen a number of players. Damian Lillard, the Achilles. Right? What's that?
Oh, Lillard, Achilles too. But I was saying like the Cavs guys went down too. They all went down for like one game, right? Like that's pretty bad.
Steph Curry with the hamstring, Aaron Gordon now LeBron dealing with the hamstring ahead of tomorrow's game 7. Yeah, LeBron with the it was MCL, I believe, with LeBron that last game. Man, one injury after. In fact, that's a topic for another show. We'll talk about why we're seeing all of these injuries happen. And no, it's not just players in today's NBA are soft or anything like that. I promise you, they are not. But the Celtics ultimately go home. The Knicks advance. And Donnie, I think my first takeaway from this is that the Knicks, they were proven right. There were so many questions about should they have traded for Karl-Anthony Towns? Should they have given up everything for Mikal Bridges? Those moves were made specifically to help the Knicks better match up with the Boston Celtics. It did not look like it was going to work during the regular season because it didn't. The Celtics, they were a force against the Knicks. The Knicks could not match up with them as well as they hoped they would. During the playoffs, though, that flipped. The Knicks got the win. And Donnie, don't come at me with this whole it was Jason Tatum's injury type stuff. No. The Knicks were on their way to being up 3-1 before Tatum got injured. So Paul Pierce missed me with this whole, we were missing our best player excuse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, he's doing what he's supposed to do, to be fair. He's a homer. He's a Celtic legend, champion. He's doing what he's supposed to.
That's for sure.
he's doing what he's supposed. He's also pretty salty about that, to be fair. I mean, Tatum in that series had some pretty up and down performances. For the first 3 games, he was largely pedestrian. I mean, his rebounding was amazing, playmaking was good, but the scoring is what they truly needed from him. They couldn't get that so much. But funny enough, the scoring was there in a big way in that last game that he actually was able to play, but they still were down 3-1 prior to the injury anyway. So I think that Boston just individually may need some reshuffling anyway on this team. I think they maybe need some more legitimate playmaking because Tatum's got to be like their point guard a lot. Jaylen Brown does some of that stuff too. They've got other smaller guards that can run the offense a little bit, but it's always in Tatum's hands. He's always facilitating. Maybe some of that pressure can go elsewhere. But yeah, the Knicks, you know, that was my whole point with the regular season piece, right? Like where like the Knicks, I don't think they beat any of these like good teams in the regular season. But that doesn't matter when you get to the postseason. It's good to give you like a reference.
Sure.
But in the postseason, it all changes, right? Like the game is much more physical. They're allowed to play a certain way, be more scrappy. And I think that benefits a team like the Knicks with guys like Hart that are going to be out there and be very physical and scrappy. And they just took it straight to Boston.
Yeah, I mean, it was really impressive. Last year's Knicks had the identity of being just a beastly team on the offensive glass. They trade Julius Randle. They bring in Karl-Anthony Towns. Mitchell Robinson's not available for much of the season. They're still a good offensive rebounding team, but not what they were. And they shift their whole identity. This super switchy defensive wing team. They became a hyper-efficient offensive team, and they ultimately get the job done. Did you know, though, Donnie, I was looking up the stats on the series. The Knicks were actually a net negative in the series. How crazy is that?
Oh, wow.
They're a net negative in the series. In fact, here, I'll throw it up there on the screen. Not by a lot, but minus 0.3 in the series. but won this series because they won close in game 1 and game 2 at the very end, and because they got blown out in what was that in game 5. Now they did win in blowout fashion in game 6, but still, when you added it all up, they were actually a net negative in the series, but they still walked away with the win, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell me it was going to be one of those Lakers Nuggets situations where they lead the entire way, the Celtics do, and then just lose at the end, right?
I kind of was. I mean, they lost what? They had 20-point leads in the first couple of games.
That's
there,
true. Actually, they did blow them. Yeah, that actually did happen.
I'll tell you what really stands out when we dig into these stats, though. It's that it was the Miles. I mean, Jalen Brunson was a +1 in terms of net rate, and he was great. Don't get me wrong, he was great. But it was the bench that really gave them. Look at Miles McBride +7.4 in 135 minutes. That was what the Knicks bench was able to accomplish. You look, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, these guys were actually negative when it came to net rating. Karl Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges. The bottom line was they were close enough, though. They hung close enough to the Celtics. Now, they probably had some bad luck where those guys were on the floor while the Celtics made their run there in game 5. And I think that's skewing the numbers here. We're talking about a small sample size. But Mitchell Robinson, +18 in 124 minutes played. Look, the Knicks bench guys deserve some credit too. It's not just the lineup changes the Knicks made, but it's their bench players, I thought, that stepped up and played a big enough role to help carry them to the win.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. And that was always the question with them too, is like, do they have the ability to go to some of those guys in higher leverage moments, because they're extremely top heavy, at least on paper. You know, they've got 5-6 guys, but they've been able to leverage those guys plus a couple others that have come in and given them good spot minutes throughout the season and in the postseason as well. You know, speaking of the postseason, just in general, this is like Knicks Celtics adjacent, but just overall. I don't know if you saw it, but Jason Timpf put out a interesting stat earlier. He said if Denver finds a way to win tomorrow, I guess today now, or tomorrow, we'll have 0 top 5 defenses from the regular season in the Final Four and only 1 top 10 defense. But regardless of who wins, all 4 teams will be top 10 offenses. Similarly, to a lesser extent, last year we had 3 top 10 offenses, but only 2 top 10 defenses make the Final Four. And the year before that, we had a team that wasn't a defending champion win the title without a top 10 defense, basically for the first time in the modern era.
So what's the big is it offense wins championships?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. At least lately, it seems like if you have an explosive offense, you can kind of come back and win some of these series. And it also, I think, is because it also shines a light on the regular season too. Because I think so much of regular season defense, because the season is so long, and sometimes it's like inconsistent with the refs, of course, almost always. Sure. I think that some of it's just youth, effort, like all these other things can mislead you to believe that you've got a certain team around you, but you just kind of don't. And so if you get a team that's veteran laden like New York, and you put them in the situations where they just have to go out there and play their offense efficiently, defend well enough, and then win the game in the end, all of a sudden you have a situation like this where they're able to kind of overcome the odds. And they look like they're really good.
I think the effort level too ramps up defensively in the playoffs. Now, I would counter what we're talking about here in terms of a top 10 offense. Again, maybe we're talking regular season defense versus
those
playoff
are all regular seasons.
Right. So we look at the playoff defense, and that's what we're looking at here. And the teams that are still available are still alive. OKC, Minnesota, Boston just went out. So those are your top 3, right there. The Knicks are 5. So those 3 are your teams that are still alive here. The only team, and look, Denver is still top 10. Now there's only 16 teams in the postseason, but Denver's defense is right here is 10. Indiana's is 8, but their offense has been so good that it's helped to mitigate. Look, Indiana is number 2 there.
These teams basically are coasting in the regular season.
Yes.
And they're performing at a higher level in the postseason. The effort is there from these guys.
And I think what the big takeaway, it's not so much that defense doesn't win. Defense does win in the playoffs. It's that regular season defense may not be the same as postseason, or is not the same as postseason defense. And that the NBA's postseason, the NBA's playoffs, it really is a whole different animal. It's a different style of play in some ways, and regular season success on either end of the floor does not necessarily equate to postseason success. And I think the difference has been more dramatic than we've seen in recent years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're really starting to see that pendulum swing. But even if you're not the best, like a Denver, you're still able to compete if you've got that high end offense, or you've got a guy that can play make and score in the half court like a Jokic can, even though he's gotten some help from some of the other players in that series. It's just the postseason is just totally different. And we don't really know what to expect based on the regular season. And the Knicks, going into it, if you were coming off the postseason, they would have been maybe the third or fourth team out east that I would have predicted to be the one in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Sure.
Of course, it would have been Cavs Boston. I think everyone would have projected that, especially, opposite ends of the brackets. You'd expect them to just run all the way through, but that's not what we saw. And credit to them. Like I said, they got into these high leverage games. They executed down the stretch, and they also came back wall down a couple times in the series too.
Now, I will say this, like, Knicks fans are thrilled, as they should be. They're ecstatic. First time in 25 years that they've made it to the conference finals. They've been, this is a huge, huge moment for Knicks fans, but there was a bit of ugliness that we saw last night, and it happened here. You could see Knicks fans after the game, I'm assuming they're here in New York, and after the game, they're swarming a guy who's out here in a Halliburton jersey and stuff. I mean, I believe that's bags.
They don't gotta throw the trash at him.
They're throwing bags of trash at him. And he's walking away, and they're pursuing it. And look, the idiot there with his phone just walking and filming him, and obviously somebody's filming this too.
Yeah, but that's not. Come on.
Yeah, this is going too far. Now, and again, everybody swarms him. Hopefully, this person was okay. Now, I also say this: what was he thinking though, going out there in the middle of a Knicks celebration, wearing a Pacers jersey, knowing the Knicks play the Pacers next in the Eastern Conference Final? Like that, to me, that's also asking for trouble.
Sure, maybe.
You shouldn't get assulted for it. I'm not saying that.
I mean, I think it's fair to be a fan of whatever team in whatever city you live in. I mean, that's not to say that you people don't have the right to say something to you. It just should never get to the point where you're being harassed. No. Like, he's flat out being harassed. Like, I don't care. He could have showed up in a Celtics jersey and it would have been hostile, but he shouldn't be getting harassed.
No, shouldn't have it, especially here. So here, like, I don't know what he's saying to them. Maybe he's antagonizing the crowd. Maybe he's saying
maybe he is, but still, they don't got to be doing all that.
No, but it should not turn physical. Here, he's walking away. He's trying to get away from the situation, and they're pursuing him. Like, that's gross. Great. That goes way too far. That it should never get to that point. I know Knicks fans are excited, and I don't think we should characterize all Knicks fans as being this way, because it's certainly not the case. But that was disappointing to see stuff like this happening. Again, should a guy be going out there in a Pacers jersey, he should know that he's going to be hearing some things. Should ever get to where he's getting stuff thrown at him, bags of trash thrown at him, he's getting hit, stuff like that. No, that kind of stuff, that should never, ever, ever happen. That was disappointing to see.
Yeah, and he should expect for people to talk crap to him. He's going out there and not like you. I have no problem with that. Like, I think that's perfectly fine. Like, he should expect that. He shouldn't have any problem with that either. I just don't think that the whole posse needs to be following him down the street while he's leaving, throwing bags of trash at him. That's a bit extra. Did you see? And this isn't like really all that bad either. But did you see the windy one?
I did, where the guy was following him and talking. So Knicks fans believe that Brian Windhorst is anti-Knicks. I've seen a lot of that reaction out there. They believe that, and I guess here's my thing. And Knicks fans would have a better idea of exactly what Windy has said that's been anti-Knicks. I don't off the top of my head, I don't have anything that I can particularly point to and go, oh, clearly Brian Windhorst just hates the Knicks. Now, NBA national reporters that present themselves as unbiased, as though they don't have a rooting interest, they mostly grew up as fans of the game. Did they have a team they were a fan of? Yes, absolutely. And I think sometimes that bleeds through. That's why I try to be just as blunt as I can in terms of who I'm a fan of, what lens I'm looking through, and all of that. I am biased. I'm not a non-biased commentator on this, but I'm upfront about that, so you know what lens I'm looking at things through. Now, with Brian Windhorst, I don't know where that bias may lie. Is it anti-Knicks? Maybe. But if it's reacting to people picking the Celtics to win the series, I don't think this is like a gotcha, see everyone hates the Knicks moment. This is more of a, whoa, how cool is it that the Knicks beat the odds moment, not point at everybody that, and look, maybe this comes off as disingenuous because I picked the Celtics to win the series, but I think everybody did. And it goes to show how big of an underdog the Knicks were going into it and how impressive the victory is. Not so much a, hey, let's point at everybody who picked the Celtics and say, oh, you guys just hate the Knicks. No, that's not the guy. I was hoping the Knicks would win personally. Brian Windhorst, I don't know which rooting side he was on, but if this was in any way because he picked the Celtics to win the series, the vast majority of people picked the Celtics to win the series, and for good reason. And to me, it just makes it all the more impressive and all the more reason to celebrate the Knicks overcoming those long odds.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one for sure. Just hopefully we don't see much more of this. I've seen a lot of people on the internet claiming the Knicks. I don't really have a lot of experience with Knicks fans, so I don't have an opinion yet on it. But I've seen a lot of people claim that the Knicks fans are not a great fan base. So we'll see what happens as they start celebrating if they go any further. I don't know. Like I think that, like I said,
they beat the Pacers?
Reason, yeah, I was going to get to that next. Within reason, I think you're allowed to celebrate if you happen to go all the way for sure. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't want to see it being over, over dramatic or anything like that. But in terms of the Pacers, I think that's going to be a really tough series.
It's going to be a good one.
I think the Pacers are weird because I don't think they get the respect they deserve. Like, you look at them on paper, this and that, and it's like, it's the Pacers. They got a good team, but maybe they're not a Boston, a Cavs, a New York, just because it doesn't pop the same, I think. But that team is so good. Like, they just go out there and they make you play at their speed, which is really actually tricky because in the playoffs, it typically slows down, but they're like, nah, screw that. We're going to just keep on going. So, like, I think that's going to be a tough series. I think they match up well, but if that's not a close game, like if they happen to just run away with it, I don't expect them to let that lead go.
Right now, the Knicks are a slight favorite, a -160 to win the series. The Pacers are +138.
I could see it going either way. Like, if you told me it was Pacers or Knicks in 6 or in 7, or I could see it. I would believe any outcome aside from like a sweep. Like,
I'm going Knicks in 7. I think this is going to be so close that we're going to get a long series. I feel bad because I've been picking against the Pacers and I've been waiting for the other shoe to drop with Indiana, and they've been so good.
That's my point.
Right? Exactly.
You don't look at them like they're going to be a great team, but they are. Like, they are super good.
Here's what
Speaking of Whitney, really quick, he said they had a 60-win pace post All-Star break or something like that. They were on a 60-win pace.
Yeah, I think here's what's going to happen. It's either you're going to wind up getting Pacers are going to win in like 5 if they're able to continue. If you know what I mean, like, I don't think it's going to be Knicks in 5. I think it will be either Pacers. If the Pacers, what they've done so far holds true in the conference finals, the Pacers will get it done quickly. Otherwise, if the Knicks have some counters and things like that, I think a longer series, the Knicks will ultimately win. But if the Pacers buzzsaw just keeps rolling, it'll be a short series. I think if the Pacers win, it's like a Pacers in 5 situation. If the Knicks are going to win, it's because they've found enough counters, and I think they will, to what the Pacers have, and then I've got like Knicks in 7. That's the way I see it going.
Yeah, I think that's like I said, I could see it either way. I think that's a really good, reasonable explanation. Really quick, who's winning tomorrow?
OKC. I've got OKC.
Yeah, I think unless, like, it's tricky with that because I don't know that you need like a 50-point Denver or Jokic game because they oftentimes lose those big scoring games from Jokic. But you will need the other guys to step up, and with Gordon being iffy, I don't know. Like, it's kind of
that Gordon injury is bad news.
Like, he probably shouldn't play. To be honest, he might mess around and play, but he probably shouldn't. But it's just, I don't know that they have the juice for that next one. I think OKC probably walks away with it. And if you're Minnesota, you're like, you feel comfortable versus either team, but you're like actually really rooting for Denver because you've absolutely got their number. So I think if you're Minnesota, obviously you're fine either way. But and also for OKC, I wonder, say they win. For one, is Jalen Williams going to go back to being himself, or is he going to keep on slumping? But
I think so.
If they win for the next round, I think that's another long series. I think that's going to be a physical series. That's another 6 or 7 game series. And
absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty tough because Minnesota's ready right now. Yeah.
Going to be good. Can't wait for it. Everybody give us your thoughts though in the comments. What do you see happening out west, and can the Knicks beat the Pacers? Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe right here to the channel. Until next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.